session so that for the people who have not been able to join us today. So our first thing, the first session of financial plan construction is understanding Excel for financial planning. We'll be talking about this. Learn to know how money works. So this is a simple question. We'll solve it but later. So this is a question which we are going to solve, but this is an interesting question. So we can start with this. Let's understand how money works better. So what you should really know when we are talking about financial planning, when we are talking about insurance, investment, retirement, and taxation, I'm not talking about Excel. Excel is infinite. So we have identified certain functions with which you are comfortable, with which you should be comfortable. You should be comfortable with present value. You should be comfortable with future value. You should be comfortable with PMT. You should be comfortable with NPV, power, number of periods. NPR stands for number of periods. Rate stands for rate of interest. IRR is internal rate of return, and XIRR is extended internal rate of return. So the first thing that we do is we make you comfortable with these functions on a spreadsheet. You might be comfortable with this function on power is exponent with it. Power is exponent x to the power y. It's something like this. Just a second. Power is a to the power b. Okay. So this we require 1 plus r to the power n. No? This kind of function. So we can use power function. Then there are many shortcuts also. So calculation is one part. Today I will show you calculation. But during our workshop, we will be focusing on two things in Excel. Calculation is one part of Excel, for which Excel is a option, like Excel is the alternative to calculator. But the second part of Excel is Excel formatting. So this also we will cover in the workshop because formatting is an important part. So you should be comfortable with the following functions: PV, FV, PMT, NPV, power, NPAR, rate, IRR, and exam. Don't worry about noting anything. If you join our workshop, all these material, whatever PPTs I am using, whatever Excel sheets I am using, I send it across to you. There's nothing. Understand when to apply which function, the mathematical concept behind these functions. Rule of 72, I'm sure you must be knowing. Rule of 72 simply tells you at a particular rate of interest R, how much time it will take for your money to double, 72 by R. So the interest is R, then it will require 72 by R years to double the money. But since we are dealing with Excel, we will do well to do use direct calculation in place of rule of 72. Maybe rule of 72 has certain interesting uses that I will tell you at a later stage. Now the first thing that you should keep in mind while we are working on Excel is timelines. Timeline is very important. Why timeline is very important? Because timelines show you the timing of cash. And while we are working with Excel, we are working with complex cash flows. When you are making a financial plan of the client, you are working with complex cash flows. So you will be working with cash flows which will be there over a period of months. You might be working with cash flows which will be over a period of years. So it is important to understand the cash flow. So this may look a very commonplace. Yeah, timeline is simple. But if you are using Excel, if you are starting to use spreadsheet, it is always better to make timeline. Time 0 is today. 0 is today. Time 1 is one period down the line, end of the first period. The period could be month also. The period could be year also. The period could be quarter also, depending on the frequency of investment. So time 0 is today, and time 1 is at the end of the first period or the beginning of second period. So if you have to calculate the value here after drawing the timeline, what you have to come? You can base your decision based on the timeline if you are not very comfortable in the beginning. So once, if the value has to be calculated time 0, that means you have to use PV. If the value has to be calculated at the end, that means you will have to use FV. If you know the first value at the beginning also, and you know the value at the end also, you have to calculate the value at each tick. That means you have to use PMT function. PMT stands for regular equal payments. If you know PV also, if you know FV also, if you know PMT also, but you want to know how many number of ticks would be there, that means you want to know what will be the total time period. Then there is a fourth function. You want to calculate the number of periods. So the period is NPER. NPER stands for number of periods. If you know all these four functions, then you have to calculate something. Mostly it will be rate. These are the five basic functions of time value of money. You must be knowing present value, future value, PMT, NPER, and rate. And timelines will help you identify the formula to be used. This is the first difficulty people feel when they start using it. Once you have done enough practice, then you can use. And what I will tell you is, Excel is an extremely practice-oriented software. When I say practice-oriented, say this. Examples of timeline, rupees 100 lump sum due in 2 years would look something like this. After 2 years, you are going to receive 100 rupees. So 100 rupees at the end of 2 years. 3 years, rupees 100 ordinary annuity. What is the meaning of ordinary annuity? Annuity is annual payment. And there are two kinds of annuity, ordinary annuity and annuity due. So if you are getting annual payment from somebody or from some product, they are called annuity. If you are receiving the money at the end of the period, we are calling it ordinary annuity. And if you are receiving the money at the beginning, if you are receiving the money at the end of the period, the annuity is called ordinary annuity. And if you are receiving the money at the beginning of the period, the annuity is called annuity due. There is the annuity most used. The most common use of annuity is in the pension plans of insurance companies. The pension plans of insurance company are in the form of annuities. So there are two kinds of annuity, immediate annuity and deferred annuity. So deferred annuity would be something like ordinary annuity and immediate annuity would be something like annuity due. What is annuity due? When the payment is made at the beginning of the period, and ordinary annuity is payment at the end of the period. Now what is the difference in calculation? We'll come to it. Now timeline for uneven cash flow stream. Cash flow 0 is 50. Ignore the dollar sign or less in rupees. So minus 50, 100, 75. That means at time 0, today you are spending 50 rupees. After 1 year, you are going to receive 100 rupees. After 2 years, you are going to receive 75 rupees. After 3 years, you are going to receive 50 rupees. Very important part. When the cash is going out of your pocket, use a negative sign. And when you are receiving cash, use positive sign. So whenever the cash is going out from your pocket, this is an important point. And especially for Excel, this is important because when the cash is going out from your pocket, you need to use a negative sign. Whether the cash is going out for expense or the cash is going out for investment. So you are investing money also. That should be negative. So if you are investing money immediately, so the present value will be negative. And if you are investing money every period, then PMT will be negative. Make sense? So obviously, that means whenever you will be doing a financial planning calculation, especially in Excel, in 90% of the cases, PV would be negative. Can you think about a case where the PV will be positive? Current value will be positive. Can you think about such a case? Think about it. Where you get money today and later you pay. What is that thing? That is loan. In the case of loan, PV will be positive. In most of the cases, investment and all, PV will be negative. This is the most common mistake people make in when they start with Excel. When they put a negative sign. So after drawing the timeline, we have to understand, we have to decide what is to be calculated. Is it future value? Is it present value? Is it PMT? PMT is equated payments. Is it NPR? Number of periods required to create certain sum of money or repay loan, or is it rate? So depending on, I told you, you go to the timeline and this will give you a decision. Beginning of the timeline, if you are at the beginning of the timeline, you are calculating, once again let me repeat it, beginning may PV, end may FV, and each of these may PMD, number of these ticks is MPA and rate. These are the 5 basic things. Then there are advanced calculations. Now when this CFP certification started around 2003, 4, 5, 6, knowing these 5 functions could help you to clear the exam. It was easy in those times. But now the things are complicated and life is quite complicated. When we are making a financial plan, what we are going to use Excel for, you are going to use Excel to handle the real life situation of the clients. The client might ask you anything. There are no limitations to what client might ask you. You are making a vacation goal for client, and client suddenly says, no, I have changed the plan. I do not want you to plan for after 10 years. I want you to plan for me every second year. Or maybe whenever I'm going to get my bonus, I'm going to put my bonus. So basically, the idea of this workshop is we'll start with very basic, and we are going to such a level. FPSB financial plan is one thing. But at the end of this workshop, you should be able to answer all the queries which a personal finance customer, even if you are making it yourself, whatever you can think of, you can handle them. This will take time, this will take practice. That's why we'll say we will be there with you after workshop also. A lot of my people keep on suddenly out of the blue, sir, how do we do this in Excel? I tell them. Now we start with the first function, future value. Future value can be of 2 types, single cash flows and many cash flows of equal value at regular periods. Now can there not be a third thing? Many cash flows of unequal value at irregular periods? I'm sure there can be, but there is no inbuilt formula. So we will cross that bridge when we will come to it. We will be able to calculate everything with Excel. So we start with a very basic thing. What is the future value of an initial rupees 100 after 3 years if interest rate is 10%? If the interest rate is 10%, finding the future value of a cash flow or a series of cash flow when compound interest is applied is called compounding. So this is, we all know, future value can be solved by using the arithmetic. It can also be solved by using financial calculator, and it can be solved by using spreadsheet methods. So I'm not saying which is good, which is bad. We are here to understand spreadsheet method. So how will be timeline looking like? Timeline of this particular case will be looking like that at time 0 you have 100 rupees. At time 0 you have 100 rupees, and we want to calculate the value at the end. And if we use arithmetic, it will be something like this. After 1 year, future value would be 100 into 1.1, 110. After 2 years, future value would be 100 into 1.1 square, 121. And after 3 years, the future value would be PV into 1 plus I cube is equal to 100 into 1.1 to the power 3. That is 133.1. Simple. So we can say the future value of 100 rupees 3 years down the line is 133.1, and this is the basic formula. Future value, general case, future value after n years is equal to present value into 1 plus I to the power n. Generalized formula. This is the basic formula where we all started. I think we have all studied this formula in class 8, 9, I don't remember when. But yes, we were in school when we studied this formula. This is the formula of compound interest. So what do we say? For calculating future value, we do compounding. And spreadsheet, if we have to use Excel spreadsheet, we use the future value formula. So let's go to Excel spreadsheets. Let's to solve future value function. Look at this. What we have to solve? We have to calculate the future value of rupees 100 after 3 years. Future value of rupees 100 after 3 years we have calculated. We have calculated this with the help of simple arithmetic like this. Then what we can do is we can use Excel spreadsheet. So let me go to Excel spreadsheet. So I hope everybody is able to see Excel on the screen. And we have to use FV function. Now for those of you who are already conversant with Excel sheet, you can directly write is equal to FV. For those of you who are looking, who have not used Excel sheet for formulas, the formulas are found here. See this, FX. Just beside the address bar, your FX button, function button, insert function. And the moment you click on that insert function, a box will appear. In this box, what you will have to do, you have to select the category, and when we are talking about future value, the category is financial. For future value, the category is financial, and financial may will press FV. If you are using it new, the moment you will press FV, this box will appear. So we are going to put rate here. The first thing that we have to input is rate. So rate may will input 10%. Rate may input 10%. NBR is 3 years. 10%. Be very, very careful while putting rate. Either put 10% or put 0.1. Don't put simple 10. If you put the number 10, it will take 1000. Then, so just remember 10% is 0.1. So either put 0.1 or put 10%. PMT, there is no PMT. What is PMT? If there is investment in every period, so there is no PMT here. PV is, I told you, if the money is going from your pocket, you should take a negative sign. And in this case, what is happening to the money? Money you are investing, so minus 100. Now we come to the final function, type. What is this type? This type is a special thing. It takes only two values. This takes value either 1 or 0. Type takes only two values, either 1 or 0. When the payment is being made at the beginning of the period, if you are making the payment immediately, take type 1. And if you are making the payment one period down the line, if you are making the period after 1 month, 1 year, then take type is 0. But type matters only when there is a value in PMT. If there is no value in PMT, type 1 and type 0 gives you the same answer. You got it? Type is, let me write it. You can note this down. This I have not written separately. So type takes only two functions, 1 and 0. 1 is when the payment is made at the beginning. That means if the payment is made immediately, then type 1, and type 0 when the payment is made at the end. And as financial planners, if you are making a financial plan for somebody or you are recommending some investment to somebody, you will ask him to make the payment immediately, no? Isn't it? So, generally when you are doing calculation, if you don't know, take type as 1, because why should we delay? You will ask the client to invest today only. So we take type 1. However, if there is no value in PMT, type doesn't matter. If I take type 0 also, I'll get 133.1. If I get type 1 also, I'll get 133.1. So what is 133.1? This 133.1 is the future value of 100 rupees 3 years down the line if the interest rate is 10%. Or in other words, we can say 100 rupees the present value of 133 rupees 3 years time. However you want to say. So this is what future value is, single value future value. Now we come to multiple value future value. Just starting the sharing again. Just give me a second. come into that window again. So we have done single value, future value. Now we come to multiple value, future value. And for multiple value, future value, what is the meaning of multiple value, future value? Multiple value, future value means just a second, I'm adjusting something. I'll come to it. Once. Multiple future value means if you are making an investment, say this was single future value. Now if we are talking about multiple future value, we did this. We use future value function, rate is 0.1, number of periods is 3, PMT is 0, PV is 100 and type is 1. This is what we did. And arrived at a value 133.1. Now look at this. Solving the future value, there are many cash flows. Initial payment is 10,000 rupees. So you are investing 10,000 immediately and you are making an equal monthly payment of 1,000 rupees. Interest rate is 10% and number of years is 3. So what will happen if we are going to make a timeline for this particular scenario? The timeline of this scenario will look something like this. This type 0 is today 1, 2, and it will have 36 ticks. Now minus 10,000, I am investing at time 0. So I am investing 10,000 will become my present value. And 1,000 rupees I am investing every month. 1,000 rupees that I am going to invest every month, that is on each tick, that will become your PMT. Now, there can be two cases. You can make 1,000 rupees at the beginning of the month also, and you can make 1,000 rupees at the end of the month also. If you are making 1,000 rupees at the beginning of the month, means you are investing 10,000 today also, and you are investing the 1,000 also today. So effective investment is 1,000. So in that case, if you are investing 1,000 rupees at the beginning of the month, then we will take type as 1. And if you are investing 1,000 rupees at the end of the month, like 10,000 you invest today, 1,000 1 month later, then we will take type as 0. Now what will be the difference? Please observe it. If you invest the first 10,000 for, you are going to invest for 36 months. Now if you are investing 1,000 rupees also immediately, so your first 1,000 will earn interest for 36 months. Your second payment of 1,000 will earn interest for 35 months. Your third payment of 1,000 will earn interest for 34 months, and going on, your last payment of 1,000 will earn interest of 1 month. And this is the first case. Now the second case is, if you invest 1,000 rupees after 1 month, not immediately, so first 1,000 will earn interest for 35 months, second 1,000 will earn interest for 34 months, 33 months and so on, and your last payment of 1,000 rupees will not earn interest. So the difference that you will be getting by putting type 1 and type 0 will be of 1 month's interest, and everything else remain the same. Type also can change your value. So let me show you how. Are we clear about this? Type 1 and type 0. So say this. Here we are going to use again future value. Future value we will get from this function, financial and future value, FV. Now in this case, you see, if I take as rate as 10%, but I will not take rate as 10% because here monthly investment is there. So how to calculate it, that rate, that is the effective rate, will come to that. But right now, for calculation, I am dividing the rate by 12. Why am I dividing the rate by 12? I am dividing the rate by 12 because the rate is monthly in this case. Number of periods is 3 into 12. PMT is minus 1,000. and PV is minus 10,000. Now this kind of calculation will be very difficult by hand, no? You will have to do 36 different calculations of interest. And type in this case, you see, if I put type as 1, I get the answer as 55,611. And if I put type as 0 in place of 1, I get answer as 55,263 rupees. So that's what is the difference? The difference is of 1 month's interest. So basically, I will suggest you that when you are planning for any investment, if you are doing it immediately, take type 1. If you are leaving it for end, take type 0. If you leave the type blank, no. If you leave the type blank, by default, Excel will take as type as 0. Even SPSB in their exams, if nothing is given, you should take type 1. But there are two products where the type is always 0. Can you think about any product where the type is 0? I am telling you that generally you should try to take type as 1, because what we are going to talk about, that what we are going to talk about is, we are asking the investment immediately. But there are two products where the immediately doesn't happen. There are loans and bonds. If you take a loan, you generally pay first EMI one period down the line. And bonds, there are no bonds in the world that are going to pay you interest in the beginning. All the bonds are going to pay the interest at the end of the period only. So loans and bonds, type 0. Otherwise, take type 1, and in the real life scenario, you will know. So when banks calculate loan EMIs, they take type as 0. I'll come to that. So we are clear with future value. What we have seen is, if you want to try it yourself, you can try it also. If you want to do these calculations yourself, because please understand, whatever I am showing you, I know it for a very, very long time. Whatever calculations I will be doing, these are practice only. So when we will be sending you this, we will be sending you a lot of practice problems also. I call it net practice in Excel. You should have your hand free in Excel. Because when we are going to make financial plan, then we will be working lot in Excel. Now, so we have done this calculation just we have done. Rate is 10% by 12. We took it. Number of periods is 36, PMT is 1000, PV is 10,000, and you must have noticed, note in these formulas. PMT and PV, both I have taken as negative. I have taken them as negative because I'm used to do, when you will start working, it will take some practice. If you take PMT positive and PV negative, that would mean you are saying you are withdrawing 10,000 rupees every month. So we have to be a little careful about it. Then we come to PV. PV is similar to future value, but reverse in direction. It can be single cash flow. It can be equal multiple cash flow. It can be unequal multiple cash flow. So if it is unequal multiple cash flow, there is inbuilt formula in Excel that we use. We use NPV. And please understand, NPV is a very, very useful formula from the point of view of financial plan, because from exam point of view or from normal point of view, whenever we calculate insurance requirement, retirement thing, we use PV. It is easy to use PV. But when we make a financial plan for retirement, insurance, everything, we are going to use NPV. So NPV is a very interesting formula. I'll tell you what is NPV. But first, let's do PV. What is the present value of rupees 100 due in 3 years if interest rate is 10%? After 3 years, you are going to get 100 rupees. So timeline for this thing will look like finding the present value of a cash flow or a series of cash flows when compound interest is applied. It is called discounting. So we do compounding to calculate future value. We do discounting to calculate present value. Discounting is reverse of compounding. So the formula of compounding is into 1 plus r to the power n. The formula of discounting is divided by 1 plus r to the power n. What does PV show you? The present value shows the value of cash flows in terms of today's purchasing powers. When we are talking about present value, it tells you that whatever amount you are going to get in future, what is the value in today's purchasing power? So PV will look something like this. 100 rupees you are going to get after 3 years. You want to calculate the value today. So what is the value today? That will be displayed by the formula of PV in mathematical terms, arithmetic. We solve it like this. PV is equal to, because we saw the formula earlier, future value is equal to PV into 1 plus I to the power n. Then we using the same formula, PV is equal to future value after n years divided by 1 plus I to the power n. This is I would go to the extent of saying this is one of the most important formulas in finance. Not only in financial planning, when you do equity research also, when you do valuation also, when you do dividend discount valuation, when you do discounted cash flow valuation, this is the formula that is mainly used. No? This is a very important formula. That present value is equal to future value after n years divided by 1 plus I to the power n. So what we did, 100 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 3, we are getting 75.13. So 75.13 is the present value of 100 rupees 3 years before. What does it mean? It means you have to invest 75 rupees 13 paisa today, and that amount will be invested for 3 years, and that it will become 100 rupees. Make sense? Now, how do we do it with the spreadsheet? Say this. Like there is a formula for future value, there is a spreadsheet formula for present value, and how do we use it? Say this. Come to Excel sheet. In Excel sheet, what do we do? Earlier we used the formula of future value. Now we are going to use the formula of present value. PV is equal to rate is 10%, number of periods is 3, PMT is 0, future value is 100, and type is doesn't matter, so I am putting 0. Now you can see here that is type is 0. Answer of PV will be negative. See this. PV is coming as minus 75.13. That means what is Excel telling you? The Excel is telling you that you will have to invest 75 rupees 13 paisa today so that you will. That's why because you have to invest that money, PV is coming in negative, and that's why I have been telling you that in any formula, if you are inputting PV, that should be negative. If you are investing, if you are getting the money, if you are calculating the EMI of the loan, obviously PV will be positive, EMI will come in negative. Why do I say that EMI will come in negative? I say EMI will come in negative because you have to pay it. Now see annuities. Ordinary annuity and annuity due, I told you. Annuities are annual payments. When you are getting the payment at the end of the period, it is called ordinary annuity. And when you are getting payment at the beginning of the period, this kind of annuity is known as annuity due. So what is the difference in calculation? We are talking about the difference in calculation. What is the difference between ordinary annuity and annuity due? The only difference in calculation would be that when we will be calculating the present value or future value of ordinary annuity, the type will be taking would be 0, and when we will be calculating present value or future value of annuity due, the type that we will be taking would be 1. Type 0 and type 1. Now say this. What is the present value of this uneven cash flow stream? Uneven cash flow stream means the formula of present value and future value can only be used if the PMTs are regular, PMTs are equal. That's why we say PMT is regular payment, equal payment. But If the payment is irregular, if the payments are not uniform, then what do we do? Then in place of PV, we use the formula of NPV. One way is, like, you cannot use the formula directly. So one of the ways is you can do arithmetic. You say 100 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 1. 300 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 2. 300 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 3. And minus 50 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 4. Basically, what is happening here is that I am going to receive 100 rupees 1 year down the line. I am going to receive 300 rupees 2 years down the line. 300 rupees 3 years down the line, I am going to spend 50 rupees 4 years down the line. Or what we can do, we can use the formula of NPV. Say this. Say this way, 100 ka, like the formula I written, 100 ka present value is coming out as 90.9. 300 ka present value is coming out as 247.93. 300 ka present value is 225.39 and 50 ka present value is 34.15. So the total PV is 530.09. Now, how do we use NPV? If we have to use NPV, yes. If we have to use NPV would be something like this. First we write it here, 100, 300, 300 and minus 50. 100, 300, 300 and minus 50. Now we calculate NPV. So we go to FX again. In financial, you find NPV only. NPR and NPV. See this. NPV, now when you're calculating NPV, rate is 10%. Value 1 is 100, then you press tab 300, then you press tab 300 and press tab minus 50. So 530.09 is the NPV. Look at the syntax of the formula again. Rate and value 1, 2, 3, 4. How many values can you put? However many values you have. There is no limitation on the number of values. So you can put any number of values. Now the thing is, what if that right now I put 4 values and I inputted all the values by my hand because there are only 4 values. There was no problem. There can be a case, no, where there are 40 values. So in that case, we should apply NPV like this. If there are more than values, we should apply NPV like this. Rate is 10% and just observe. I click on this and however, I'll select all the numbers together. Instead of putting all the numbers separately, what I can see, if I have too many numbers in Excel, I can select all the numbers together and press OK. Same value I'll be getting. That means getting 100 rupees 1 year down the line, 3 years, 2 years down the line, 3 years, 3 years down the line, and spending 50 rupees 4 years down the line is equivalent to 530.09 today. You're okay? Now, one thing that you should remember about NPV. What is the thing that you should remember about NPV? That when we were calculating what PV, we had an option to put type 1 or type 0, but look at this formula. We do not have any option to put type 1 or type 0. So just remember, whenever you are calculating NPV, you are getting the value in type 0. NPV assumes that this first payment is after one period. NPV assumes that the first payment is after one period. So what we are getting here is, we are getting this value. Now, if consider timeline different, if there would have been a different timeline, if it would be the first payment would have been today, 300 would be after 1 year, next 300 would be after 2 years, and minus 50. Then how would we do it? You cannot directly calculate it by NPV because NPV does not give account for immediate payment. So if you want to calculate immediate payment with NPV, what you will have to do? You have to multiply it by 1 by n. Whatever value we are getting, 530.08 into 1 plus r. R in this case is 10%. So this is one thing that you should keep in mind, that in the normal present value formula, you can give type 1 or type 0 depending on if the payment is made at the beginning or the payment is made at the end. But when we are using NPV formula does not give us an option to put type 1 or type 0. So NPV gives you answer in type 0. That means NPV gives you answer with the assumption that the payment is being made at the end of the period. Now, if we want that payment to come to the beginning of the period, then what do? We multiply it by 1 plus r, 530.09 into 1 plus 10%. That means 583.1 would be a present value. If 100 is done at time 0, 1, 2, and 3. And 530.09 when it is at time 1, 2, 3, and 4. After 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, and after 4 years. Are we clear about this? So what formulas we have talked about up till now? We have talked about the use of future value, single value, multiple value. We have talked about present value when all the payments are equal, and NPV is used when the payments are not equal. When you are getting a different amount every period. Then look at this. This is also a very interesting question, which will show us the power of compounding. I'm sure you people would have come across such calculations. But this question is very dear to me. Why this question is very dear to me? That in my earlier days of training, when I had just started trading around the year 2009, 2008 or 7 I started, 2009. What SEBI did, SEBI removed the entry load. When SEBI removed the entry load, then I was hired by a mutual fund house to conduct a training with advisors how to charge a fees. That training I used to start with this question. But this question I made with the college students. I was taking a seminar with college students. So these people did not understand much of finance. So I asked them that whether you understand finance or you do not understand finance, you are not going to get pension when you are going to get retired. So let's plan for your retirement. These guys told me, sir, what are you talking about? We don't even earn. So I told them, whether you earn or not, you do not earn. Can you spend 10 rupees every day? Can you save? Everybody said yes. So he made this question. A 20-year-old student wants to start saving for retirement. She plans to save 10 rupees a day. Every day she puts rupees 10 in her drawer. So she is not investing daily. She is saving daily and investing at the end of the year. At the end of the year, she invests the accumulated savings, that is 3,650 rupees, in an online stock account. The stock account has an expected annual return of 15%. How much money will she have when she is 65 years old? So if we are going to make a timeline for this particular thing, it will be something like this. She is 20 now, and we want to find out how much money she will have when she is 65 years old. 1 times 0, 1, 2, 3. How many periods? There will be 45 periods. And what we have to calculate here? We have to calculate the value here. If we have to calculate the value at the end of the timeline, then what are we talking about? We are talking about calculating future value, no? So we have to calculate the future value FV, where rate is 10%. NPR we have just assumed it to be 45. PMT every year there is a payment. PMT is minus 3,650 rupees. PV, there is no PV. She does not have any money to invest immediately, so PV is 0. And type, what will type be in this case? 1 or 0? Think about it. What will be the type function in this case? Because she is saving full year and investing at the end of the year, so we will take type as 0 and apply the formula. That's it. Please try it at your computers if you are logged in through computers. And this particular program, if you are joining our program in the online mode, try to join with the laptop. Then you can work along with me. Joining by mobile, you won't be able to practice it on Excel. So what we are going to talk about? We are going to talk about FV. Rate is 15%. Now, no need to do it monthly because she is investing at the end of the year. She is investing yearly. Number of periods is 45. PMT is minus 3,650. PV is 0, there is no PV, and type is 0. Why type 0? Again, I am repeating. Type is 0 because she is not investing immediately. She is doing what? She is saving 10 rupees every day. At the end of the year, she is going and investing the accumulated savings. Look at the amount. Interesting, no? The amount is 1 crore 30 lakh 85,780. So the future value of a payment schedule of 10 rupees every day, if it is saved for 45 years and the portfolio is able, or portfolio or whatever investment is able to generate a return of 15% per annum, then in 45 years you will have 1 crore 30 lakh 85,780 rupees. But that warrants another question. That's okay that you are going to have 1 crore 30 lakhs. But what will be the value of this 1 crore 30 lakhs in terms of today's purchasing power? What will be the value of this 1 crore 30 lakhs in terms of today's purchasing power? So for that, what we will have to do? We'll have to calculate the present value, no? In today's purchasing power at the rate of inflation. So any suggestion on the rate of inflation that what we should take? For a period of 45 years, what is the rate of inflation that we should take to calculate the present value? The value of this amount in today's purchasing power. Please do participate. My sessions are generally interactive. I keep on taking. Many a times I will be keeping. Today it's okay. But many a times, half of the calculation that I do it from the input of the participants. Vijay has said 6%, Nikhil is saying 6%. Yes, my guess is also 6%. So let's take a inflation of 6%. Calculate PV. You can directly calculate PV or you can use the function of PV. So rate is, we are taking inflation as 6%. Number of period is 45 years. PMT would be 0. Future value is this amount, 1 crore 30 lakhs. इसको मैं minus में put कर देता हूँ because I want answer in positive. Or you can do this like this also. This divided by 1 plus 6% to the power 45. To the power लगाने के लिए देखिए मैंने क्या किया है. What I have done? I have pressed shift and 6. This is a shortcut for putting power. So 9,50,678 rupees in today's purchasing power. Just by saving 10 rupees a day. Not bad, no? Imagine somebody's grandfather suddenly bringing, in today's term, in 9,50,000, you will get a car. You can buy a car for yourself at that point in time. Really. But as I told you, this is a very interesting example. Why? Because I used this example in the workshop for the advisors as how to charge a fees. Now, when we are saying how to charge a fees, now one very interesting thing. When I was telling you about this seminar that I took in the college, no, that was quite a few years back, 2008 I'm talking. So right now, 1 crore might not look such a big amount, but in 2008, 1 crore was a big deal. So these kids told me, sir, ये theoretical है ना? Now the next thing that I was saying, what if we change the rate to 8%? Rest of the things remaining the same. What if this amount is invested in place of 15% at 8%? What will happen? What we are doing, we are changing the rate, we are reducing the rate by nearly half. So if I change the rate to 8%, look at the amount. Very interesting. Amount is 14,10,745. This is the pain the customers do not realize. Personal finance people, they do not realize, and the whole of the world is doing retirement planning at 8%. Now 8% is looks like a 5-star return. No? EPF, PPF, NPS, nothing is going to give you more than 8%. It is also on the higher side. So at that point in time, the sales pitch was, if you want to have a life of 1 crore 30 lakhs, come to an asset class which is going to give you a return of 15%, and there is only one asset class which we can expect to do that. Which is what I am talking about. Now people have started understanding. Stock markets are going 60,000 and all. People are getting very much attracted to stock markets. I hope this continues. But sir, so basically this is the power of compounding. If look at the difference in the amount, half rate, double rate, the amount goes to 110. So this was future value, present value, a little play around future value, present value. Then we come to this part, frequency of compounding. This is a basic part of financial mathematics, and it is important that you understand the frequency of compounding plays a very important role in ascertaining the size of the corpus which you are going to have at the end. Will the future value of lump sum be larger or smaller if it is compounded more often, holding the stated I% constant? If the rate is constant, if the compounding is done more often, will the future value be high or low? Obviously, it will be high, no? Because interest will be earned and interest more often. Larger as the more frequently compounding occurs, interest is earned on interest more often. So say this, if 10% interest is accrued on 100 rupees, 10% interest is accrued on 100 rupees on annual basis. After 1 year, we will be having 133.1. So after 3 years, sorry. While for the semi-annual, if the interest instead of 10% per annum, you get 5% every semi-annum. Means semi-annually, every 6 months. So you will have 134.01. That's why frequency of compounding is important, and that must not be ignored at the time of calculation. So the interest rate can be classified as nominal rate, periodic rate, and effective rate. What is nominal rate? Nominal rate is also called the quoted rate or the stated rate. It is an annual rate that ignores the effect of compounding. So nominal rate is stated in contract. It's only the rate that is written on the document that is nominal rate. It is not used in calculation. It is stated in the contract. Period must always be given. So if you are talking about a nominal rate of 8% and the frequency of compounding is not given, then that is incomplete. So 8% compounding annually will give you different rate, and 8% compounded quarterly will be a different issue. That's why the period must be given. What is periodic rate? Periodic rate is amount of interest charged each period. So 8% is compounded quarterly. The periodic rate would be 8% by 4. That is 2%. So periodic rate is nominal rate by period frequency of compounding. This is used in calculation. When we are doing Excel calculation, we use periodic rate. But this thing comes with a caveat. I'll tell you what. And effective rate is 1 plus nominal rate by m to the power m minus 1. What is the meaning? 1 plus r by n to the power n minus 1. Let me show you. So basically what we are talking about, if we are talking about effective annual rate, if your nominal rate is r and your frequency of compounding is n, then your effective rate would be 1 plus r by n to the power n minus 1. 1 plus r by n to the power n minus 1. So let's say if r is 9% and frequency of compounding is 4 quarterly. So it will be 1 plus 9% by 4 to the power 4 minus 1, which will be exactly equal to 9.31%. And as an investor, what is effective annual rate? That because of more frequency of compounding, what is the actual return on investment year on year that you are getting is known as effective annual rate. Are we clear about effective annual rate? But this is only for the product. You can note down this formula 1 plus r by n to the power n minus 1. That formula is given in the presentation. But this formula you do not need to use when you are calculating by Excel. Okay, you simply divide 9% by 4 and the thing will be taken care of. Let me show you what I am talking about. What is the formula that I just told you? Effective annual rate is equal to 1 plus r by n to the power n minus 1. Now, one thing that you must be very careful if you are putting expressions like this in Excel, ऐसा कुछ डाल रहे हैं आप, be very careful of BODMAS, mathematics, bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. मतलब if you don't put a bracket at right place, then the calculation might go a little sideways. So be careful with the brackets. Let me show you what I am talking about. See this. If R, let's say if R is 10%, let's calculate effective rate under various circumstances. And frequency of compounding annual, quarterly, half yearly, monthly, and let's say daily also. 5 different cases we are going to calculate the frequency of compound effective annual rate at 5 different frequency of compounding. What we are calculating? Effective annual rate. And the formula that I just told you, have a look. Dhyan se. 1 plus R. I am giving cell references by N. N is 1, bracket close, to the power, shift and 6, N minus 1. And let me do a little formatting. Let me make it percentage with 2 decimals. So 10% compounded annually is 10%. 10% compounded quarterly is 10.38%. 10% compounded 6 times means every 2 months is 10.43%. 10% compounded monthly is 10.47%. And 10% compounded daily is 10.52%. That's why we should take frequency of compounding into concern. But let me show you what I'm saying. If you have to calculate in Excel, let's say you are investing 1 lakh rupees. What I'm saying is you are investing 1 lakh rupees and the frequency of compounding is given as quarterly. What I am solving here is that if you are investing 1 lakh rupees, rate of interest is 10% and frequency of compounding is quarterly. So what we have to do for calculating future value in Excel, we don't have to calculate the effective annual rate. We simply put the formula of future value. This FV. The only thing that you will have to do is when you are inputting the rate 10%, divide it by 4. 10% by 4. Number of periods is given as now with whatever factor you are going to divide the rate. With the same factor, you should multiply number of periods. 1 into 4. PMT is 0. PV is minus 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And type is 1 or 0, doesn't matter because there is no value. So see this. The future value is 1,10,381. Okay. So the interest that you are getting is this minus 1 lakh. That means 10,381 and this divided by 1 lakh. The rate of interest that you are getting on your investment is 10.38%, which is the same as effective interest rate that we are calculating. So what was my point in showing you this calculation? That I have told you what is effective annual rate, but when you are working in Excel, you do not have to calculate effective annual rate separately, and then you use it. You simply divide the nominal rate by frequency of compounding and multiply years of investing by frequency of compounding, and you will get the same answer. Which one, Vijay? ये future value वाला? फ्यूचर वैल्यू और रेट कैलकुलेशन. ओके, क्वार्टरली. देखिए दोबारा दिखा रहा हूँ विजय दास. देखिए क्या करना है हमको. वी गो टू फ्यूचर वैल्यू एंड rate is 10%, frequency of compounding is quarterly. No, so we divide rate by 4. 10% by 4. Number of period is 1. 1 year. 1 into 4. PMT is 0. PV is minus 1 lakh. I invested 1 lakh rupees. No, minus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And type is, doesn't matter in this case. 0, 1, whatever I take. So the future value is 1,10,381. That means if normal case mein kya hoga, if you invest 1 lakh rupees and interest rate is 10%, you get 1,10,000. But here, because the compounding frequency is quarterly, you got more than 1,10,381 rupees more. This because the frequency of compounding is quarterly, and what is the interest that you got on the amount? Minus 1 lakh. That means on an investment of 1 lakh, you got an interest of 10,381, which we calculated through Excel, and that corresponds. Agar main 1 lakh, this interest is same as is equal to 1 lakh into this. Say the same value we are getting. If you want to do it half yearly, say this. Half yearly mein it will be same. Half yearly mein you have to divide by 2, not by 6. Half yearly we have not calculated here. This is not half yearly. This is every bi-monthly hai. Half yearly ke liye it should be like this. See, half yearly it should be 10.25%. Okay, this must be confusing. This 6 is not half yearly. 6 is bi-monthly. Half yearly ke liye what we'll have to do? The only change in half yearly is you have to divide this by 2 and this into 2. Here is 1, 1, 10, 2 by 0. Got it? So basically, this is what effective annual rate is. But let me show you an interesting concept. But this is only true for the product where the frequency of compounding is defined. But the product is not market based. We cannot say this for a mutual fund, no? Because mutual fund is not going to give you interest in half yearly or quarterly. Mutual fund, if it is an equity oriented mutual fund or debt mutual fund, it will go as the NAV goes up or down, it's all market based. So this particular format of formula cannot be used for market based products. This is only true for the products where the frequency of compounding is clearly defined. So in market based products, we will not, basically what is happening is, this rate 10% rate is nominal, and this 10, what we are calculating effective rate. Now let's assume a situation that you are investing in mutual fund और आपको लग रहा है return will come as 12%. Return will come at 12%. Now if we divide 12%, if you are investing in a mutual fund or maybe share market and you are expecting a return of 12% per annum. Now if I take 12% per annum corresponds to 1% per month, no? 12% per annum corresponds to 1% per month. So if I put this formula, effective rate का formula 1 plus 12% by 12 to the power 12 minus 1. It is coming as 12.68%. If I divide 12% by 12, the effective rate that will be taken will be 12.68%. My assumption would be wrong, no? That's why for market-based products, for products like mutual fund, we do not divide the rate by 12. Say nahi karna hai, conceptually that is wrong. So what do we do then? For the people who have been using calculator must be aware of effective and nominal function. We can use it here also, but you will get confused because when the products are frequency defined, 10% is the nominal rate and this 10.25, 10.43 is the effective rate. But when we are dealing with the market-based product, just remember, write down this formula. For market-based products where the frequency of compounding is not defined, product market पे base है, so monthly rate, monthly nominal, हमको effect, if I am assuming a return of 12%, 12% is my annual rate. So if rate is, this is my effective rate, what will be my monthly nominal rate corresponding to this? The formula would be monthly rate is equal to 1 plus r to the power 1 by n minus 1. 1 plus r to the power 1 by n minus 1. This has to be taken. R by 12 nahi lena hai. So if n is 12, the effective monthly rate would be 1 plus r to the power 1 by 12 minus 1. So when we are doing in calculation in Excel, if the product is not market based, if the frequency of compounding, we are calculating for FD, we are calculating for RD, there for national savings certificate, simply divide R by N. But when we are calculating it for market based product, that is mutual fund, that is share market, then we use this formula 1 plus R by N. So let me show you what is the implication of this formula. So if I am going to invest in mutual fund 12%, but I am going to do an SIP. If I am, let's say, I am investing 5,000 rupees per month in a mutual fund. I am doing an SIP and my expected rate of return is 12%. So what is the amount of money I'll have after 5 years? Let's see. FV is equal to rate is 12%. If I take simply, if I don't use this formula, divide 12% by 12. Number of years is 5 into 12. PMT is minus 5,000. PV is 0 and type is 1. Immediately I am investing. So I will have 4,12,431. But यहाँ पे मैंने क्या किया है 412,431 मैंने रेट यूज किया 12% by 12. Let us check the rate. We have a formula of rate. कि रेट आया कितना है? Let's say number of periods हमने कितना लिया था 60. PMT is minus 5,000. PV is 0, initial payment question is future value is this, and type is 1. तो हमारा मंथली रेट 1% का आ रहा है बिकॉज मंथली इन्वेस्टमेंट है ना, और इसको व्हेन वी कंपाउंड इट 12 टाइम्स 1 plus 12% to the power 12 minus 1 plus 1%. So the effective rate that we are calculating in this is 12.68%, not 12%. So that means if I divide 12% by 12, I get the calculation at 12.68%. I do not want this. I want to use such a rate which when compounded 12 times in a year will give me exactly 12%. Because my investment, my effective rate is 12%. So how will I use this? I'll use this rate. 1 plus 12% whole to the power 1 by 12. You must be noticing that I am putting 1 by 12 in the brackets. BODMAS. So the rate is coming as 0.0094. In percentage terms, this rate is coming at 0.95%. This 0.95% is such a rate which when compounded 12 times in a year will give you exactly 12%. So reverse weighting में देखिए 1 plus 0.95% to the power 12 minus 1. Exactly 12% you are getting. Got it? So what is the formula that you should remember? For market-based product, the monthly rate is equal to 1 plus R to the power 1 by 12 minus 1. And for non-market based product, simply divide actual rate by R. In the rate section of Excel, simply divide nominal rate by R. But for the products that are market based, you don't have to do that. Use the formula 1 plus R to the power 1 by. And now if this is monthly, it will be 1 by 12. If it is quarterly, 1 by 4. If it is half yearly, 1 by 2. Is this clear? This is an important understanding of financial planning. As a layman investor, if you will tell me I'll get 412, 431, he'll be okay because they'll not know. But as a financial professional, this difference matters. So if any clarity more is required in this scenario, please ask me. So actual amount would be now say this. So this is wrong. For a mutual fund calculation, this is wrong. The actual calculation should be like this. Thank you, Vijay. Now, actual calculation for mutual fund would be like this. FV rate is 0.95%. 1 plus R to the 1. Number of periods is again 5 into 2. PMT is minus 5,000. PV is 0 and type is 1. So the actual amount would be 4,05,518, which is being miscalculated because you are using a wrong rate. Clear with this? So in our financial plan that we will be making, you will observe, let me show you that sheet, that when we will be making the justice. Financial plan that I was talking to you yesterday. In the assumption sheet, I had shown you that we had taken yearly rate and monthly rate. So we don't have to do that calculation again and again. Look at this. Look at the formula. Yearly rate is 11% and monthly rate means look at the formula we have taken. 1 plus R to the power 1 by 12 minus. All these are market-based products, no? Equity MF, debt MF, GSEC. So we are clear with rates. This is an important concept. I have already shown you. Effective annual rate 10%, compounded annually would be 10%. 10% compounded quarterly would be 10.38%. 10% compounded monthly, the effective rate would be 10.47%. And 10% if compounded daily would be 10.52%. If the principal is 1 crore, just look at the amount. The principal is more than. So it is important that we should be, while we are calculating, whether we are calculating for the product when the frequency of compounding is defined, or we are calculating for the product where the frequency of compounding is not defined, market-based product, in both the cases, we should be careful about this. In both the cases, we should be careful about what we are doing. Can the effective rate be equal to nominal rate? Effective and nominal rate will be equal. Do you want me to show you this using effective and nominal function of Excel? We can use that also, but I am deliberately not showing you both methods so that you do not get confused. Just remember the formula 1 plus r to the power 1 by 12 minus 1 for market-based products. Making sense? If annual compounding is used, if m is 1, then effective rate and nominal rate will be same. देखिए, let me show you. जैसा हमने ये कैलकुलेशन किया था, इसके अलावा आप एक काम कर सकते हैं. You can use, in this case, you can use the function of effective also. Effective. Nominal rate is 10%, number of periods is this. It will give you the same answer. And if I apply this formula here, we're getting same. So this is nominal. Effective can also be used, but it gets a little tricky in this case. How? अब इसमें क्या है? देखिए. In the product where the frequency of compounding is defined, this is nominal rate and we are getting effective rate. But if it is market driven product, your assumption is 12%. Yes, this 12% is effective rate. So you will have to use the formula of nominal to arrive. So what we'll have to do? Fx nominal, effective rate is 12%, number of period is 12. So this 11.38% that we are getting, this is actually annual. So what we'll have done, once we have calculated effective and nominal ka annual, we'll have to divide it by 2. Then we get 0.95. Got it? So this is also the way, or you can use effective nominal function also, but be very sure that if you are calculating for predefined products, that kind of products, you are going from effective to nominal to effective, and if you are calculating for market-based product, you are coming from effective to nominal. Return is 12% annual, but उसके लिए corresponding nominal rate is 11.39%. Your effective rate is 12% only. देखिए इस केस में क्या है, 10% is your nominal rate, no, but the effective rate is 10.25%. Here 10%, 10.43%. In this case, nominal is 11.39 and effective is 12%. In this case, we are dividing 10% by 2, no? Due to compounding effect, exactly. I've seen a lot of people getting confused here. So that's why I spent some time on it. Nominal rate is written into contracts quoted by banks and broker. It is not used in calculation or shown on timeline. Periodic rate is used in calculation and shown on the timeline. And effective annual rate is used to compare return on investment with different payments per year. It is used in calculation when annuity payments don't meet compounding period. Annuity payment compounding period से कब मैच नहीं होते हैं? In things like RD. RD में your investment is monthly and compounding is quarterly. So then how do we calculate it? We'll have to calculate effective rate and then We'll do it later. Then we come to the next function, a very interesting function called PMT. What is PMT used for? PMT is used for calculating equal installment, or reversely it is used for calculating monthly savings required to build a corpus of an amount. And the most common use of PMT is amortization, loan amortization. Amortization tables are widely used for home mortgages, auto loans, business loans, to create retirement plans. Financial calculators and the spreadsheets both are great for setting up amortization table. Now, why we favor Excel? Because it is easy to show the amortization schedule in Excel. So let's take an example. Construct an amortization schedule for rupees 1000, 10% annual rate loan with 3 equal payments. 1000 rupees का loan है, 10% rate है, annual rate, and 3 payments. So first, what we'll have to do? We'll have to calculate the EMI, rather EYI in this case, equated yearly installment. और उसके बाद क्या होगा? After that, we'll have to calculate convert it into amortization schedule. Let's do it. Let's write it like this. Loan amount, rate, period, EMI. Here the loan amount is 1000, rate is 10%, period is 3 years, so EMI or EYI would be, we'll again go to FX, and from FX we'll calculate PMT. PMT के लिए rate would be 10%, number of periods would be 3, PV would be 1000. Say this PV is negative, you will be getting EMI in PV is positive, EMI will come in negative. Future value is 0, and I told you when we are calculating loan, the type is 0. What we are getting, the EMI or EYI is 402.11. 402.11 is the installment. So this is clear, PMT function. So PMT function is used, the major use of PMT function is to calculate the EMI or to calculate the monthly saving required to achieve at the financial goal. Now, if we are calculating this, let's make an amortization schedule. So let's write serial number, EMI, interest, principal, and balance. Serial number would be 3. There are 3 EMIs. Now, what is amortization schedule? Amortization schedule is nothing. You simply bifurcate the loan into interest and principal. When you simply bifurcate the loan into interest and principal, what you get is amortization schedule. So now I want it in positive. Say this minus 402.11. I have given the cell reference. And if I pull it down, you will see नीचे के दोनों से you'll get 0. Why? Because Excel does relative referencing. Here I have copied, say this F49. If you do not fix it, if you drag it down, copy paste it, it will directly take the lower cell F50, because Excel doesn't recognize its value. Excel says if you have copied F49 here, if you drag it, it will copy F50 and F51. So what I do, I want same value to be selected here. So minus, I'll select this, and then I will fix the cell. How do you fix the cell? You fix the cell by putting a $sign up front of row number and column number. And the shortcut for that in most of the computer is, say this minus, select this cell and press F4. F4 or function F4. F4 or function F4. In some cases F4 works as a shortcut, in some cases function F4 works as a shortcut, and the balance, initial balance would be 1000. Now look at it very carefully. This loan is on reducing balances, so your first interest would be on the total balance. This into 10%. Your first month interest or first year's interest will be on the total principal. So the first EMI is 402, interest is 100. So the principal payment being paid in the EMI is this minus 100. And balance will be equal to 1000 minus this. Yeah. I will be doing this. So say this. The balance would be this into 10%. Principal would be equal to 402 minus this. And interest balance would be 1000 minus 302. And then this is the only calculation. Then simply drag it. You can say at the end balance should be 0. So this is an amortization schedule. This is an amortization schedule for a 3-year loan where the payment is annual. Got it? Is this clear? Any doubt? Please make it at your end. You will be. Amortization schedules are very interesting and they are not very difficult to make. Plus, if you are dealing with a client, most of the people have some loan, and when they take loan, the banks gave a printout of the amortization schedule. Now, this was a very simple loan. These kind of loans do not exist in real life. In real life, what kind of loan happens? Let's go and solve Bala's problem. We started our presentation with Bala's problem. Prabha Devi galat lag gaya. Ignore the word Prabha Devi. On 1 crore, you won't get a kitchen in Prabha Devi now. Bala borrowed rupees 1 crore housing loan from ICICI Bank in March 2016 for a designer flat located at Mumbai at 8% floating rate of interest. The loan tenure was for 20 years. The interest rate suddenly rose to 12% within a span of 8 months. Bala could pay a maximum of 97,000 per month as EMI. How long will it take for Bala to repay the loan? Look at the question. We are going to solve this. Home loans are long-term loans, and we all know that these loans are floating loans in nature. So this guy Bala stays in Mumbai. He bought a house. He took a loan of 1 crore. The rate was 8%. He was very happy paying. Like whatever the EMI was, he was happily paying it. Then suddenly, monetary policy changed and the rate increased to 12%. Now, when generally bank increases the rates, banks generally do not increase the EMIs. Banks increase the period. But this is a drastic increase. So this guy says, Bala says, ki whatever happens, my payment capacity is 97,000. Under any circumstances, I cannot pay more than 97,000 as monthly EMI. Now they are wondering how long will it take for Bala to repay this loan. Got it? Let's solve it. Again, same thing, loan amount, and first let's calculate the EMI. The rest of the things we'll do later. We'll again have to make an amortization schedule for Bala. So see this, loan amount in this case is 1 crore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rate is 8%. Initial rate is 8%. Period is 240 months or 20 years. EMI would be, which function we are going to use to calculate EMI? We are going to use the function of PMT. So PMT rate is 8% by 12. Number of periods is, yes, correct, Vijay. 83,644, correct. Number of period is 20 into 12. PV would be 1 crore, positive. Future value is 0 and type is 0. Why type 0? I told you, loan would be one of the rare things where the type would be 0. So 83,644. This is your EMI. If this is the EMI, now let's make the amortization schedule. Forget about this 8-month situation. Let us first make amortization schedule for the first whole 240 months. So serial number, EMI, interest, principal, and balance. And how many periods are there? See this. In the earlier case, it was 2 periods. Now it is 240 periods. No problems. We have Excel, no? Just pull it down. I am pulling it down. And if it goes above 240, I will delete this. So don't worry about this. Be very, very comfortable with dragging. Dragging is one of the wonderful things of Excel. So we left. So we are ready to make an amortization schedule of the original loan. I mean, loan refinancing I will see later. But let's make an amortization schedule of the original loan. Everybody with me till now? Observe very, very carefully. Because this is a 240 rows thing calculation that we are going to do. And this is a calculation which most of the people have seen it happening. So if you are able to do this quickly, this amortization schedule and the Massian amortization schedule, this will help you solve their other problems also. Like whether they should repay their loan, they've got a lump sum, shall that lump sum be invested into a mutual fund or it should be used to prepay the loan? One very common question. No? So say this, original balance is 1 crore. Original balance is 1 crore. EMI is, look at the way I am doing it, minus 83,644 cell select and I press F4. I am pressing F4, this thing is getting affected and then I am going and simply do a double click. Just by simply doing double click, what is happening? Just by simply doing double click, if there is a value in adjacent cell, the EMI will get copied till 240. Say this. This is what we are looking at. So if you have value in the adjacent cell, just double click will ensure that all your value will be pasted. Okay, repeating it with you. Just a second. What I did was is equal to minus. I gave the cell reference of this cell and I pressed F4. In some computers, F4 would be working along with the function key, Fn F4. And then I press enter and then I went here in the bottom right corner. When this cross sign becomes smaller, I do a double click. The moment I will do a double click, you will see all the things will be copied till 240. Now see this. Now how will we calculate interest? As the same way, the first month interest would be, this is equal to 1 crore. 1 crore into 8%, half se डालो 8% by 12. Why? पहले we did not divide by 12 because it was a yearly loan. Now this loan is a monthly loan. Principal would be equal to the principal portion of the EMI. 6 for the first month. If you take a loan of 1 crore at 8% for a period of 20 years, the first month interest would be 66,000. The principal portion of the EMI would be interest, EMI minus interest. And balance would be equal to original EMI minus original balance minus whatever has been repaid. So original balance was 1 crore. 16,977 has been repaid. So the balance after 1 month would be 99,83,022. Are we all clear with this calculation? First we calculated interest multiplying balance by the interest rate. Then we calculated principal by subtracting interest from the EMI. And then we calculated the balance amount of loan by subtracting from the original balance whatever the amount of principal has been repaid with this installment. Now what do? We'll have to repeat this calculation 240 times. Nothing else. This is the only calculation we have to do while making an amortization schedule. The only thing we'll have to do is we'll have to repeat this calculations 240 times. To repeat this calculation, what do? See this. Select all this, go here in the corner and do a double click. The moment you will do, you will find that till bottom this has been filled and last mate is 0. So this is the amortization schedule, the original amortization schedule of a 1 crore loan at 8% rate of interest for a period of 23 or 20 years. Are we clear on this? Any doubts on this? Should I repeat something? Please ask me. And try that yourself. You have understood this? Because making amortization schedule, this looks like a humongous work. See this, how long a schedule we have made and how much time it took us. It took us some 3, 4, 5 minutes. And that too, it took me 5, 7 minutes because I was explaining it to you. Yes, loan rate is nominal rate. Loan को भी divide by 12 लिखो. Great vision. %8 is nominal rate. Why? Because loan rate is always considered nominal rate. So loan rate को we have to divide by number of periods if it is monthly. And mostly loans are monthly, no? Quarterly loans, half-yearly loans were rare. So this is the first part of the question. Okay. When Bala took the loan, he was given this schedule and he was very happy. But this happiness remained only for 8 months. Up till now, these things happened. After 8 months, 8 EMIs get paid. After that, the loan rate increased to 12%. So what does this guy tell you? This guy says, I cannot pay more than 97,000. He says, I cannot pay more than 97,000. So this becomes the new EMI, no? 97,000 becomes the new EMI. New rate is 12% now. New rate is 12%. Period is what we want to calculate. Okay. Loan amount is how much? Balance portion. No, after 8 months, whatever is balance becomes the loan amount. So loan amount is this much. 98,60,969. It has still to be paid. So NPR, what is the period? In how many time that he'll be able to pay? We have to calculate this. Are we clear with the proposition? The problem proposition, are we clear with? $232 was when the EMI was 83,644 and the rate was 8%. That was 232. But now the interest has increased and this guy says I cannot pay 97,000. 232 pay, what will be EMI? We'll come to that later. Here he will not be able to maintain the original 232. Original was 232. So we have to calculate what will be the new NPR. So for that, which function we are going to use? For that, we are going to use NPR function. NPR में rate is 12% by 12. PMT is the EMI minus 97,000 PMT. PV is plus का 98, 69, 69. Future value is 0 and type is 0. Look at the value again. In the rate I have put in 12% by 12. In PMT I have put 97,000. In PV I have put 98,60,969. And type is 0. Look at this. I'm not getting the answer. What has happened? 0.01, 97,000. There's this. I'm not getting an answer. What is the issue? Why do you think I'm not getting the answer? Anybody? I've not done anything else. All the values I have taken are correct. Same error. Why we are not getting the answer? Anybody? Think about the amount. Look at the amount. Look at the rate. You will get the answer. It is very logical. We have not done anything wrong. Let me give you another hint. We are not getting an answer because answer is not possible. This is an impossible calculation. See this. Rate is 12%. 12% का monthly rate कितना होता है? 12% का monthly rate is 1%, no? And 1% of the principal of 98 lakh would be 98,000, no? Only the interest portion would be 98,609 and this guy is paying only 97,000. This 97,000 EMI is not covering the interest only. Where will the principal get reduced? So he can pay 97,000 forever and the loan will still not be repaid. This loan is unpayable at 97,000. This is a debt trap. This is a debt trap. What is debt trap? Debt trap is a situation where your interest outgoing is more than your repayment capacity. So this is a debt trap wala situation. Why? Because the rate is 12%. 12% means 1% per month. Now 1% of this 98 lakh would be 98,000, no? And you are paying only 97,000. You are not even paying interest. How will principal will get repaid? As we have seen in this, EMI is some portion goes towards interest and some portion goes towards principal. So if you are not paying interest only, how will you repay principal? So this is a debt trap kind of situation. And that's why we have taken such a drastic figure. Otherwise, overnight, the rates cannot increase from 8% to 12%. No? Otherwise, there would be a lot of mayhem in the economy. And what was I saying more? So let's consider ये 97,000 वाला अगर हम हटा देते, let's. I hope this is clear. Let me say, if we 97,000 wala requirement we remove, and let's say whatever new EMI come, I'll pay and I'll maintain the original term. If we remove 97,000 wala and we retain the original term, then the new EMI would be correct average. New EMI would be, say this, PMT rate is 12% by 12. Number of periods now would be 232. PV would be 98, 69, 69. Future value is 0 and type is 0. So 109,494. The new EMI would be 1,09,494 if this guy is okay with maintaining the same term. So basically, I think it is very close to 7 now. We cannot take another formula. So we have today we have talked about PV, FV, PMT, and I've done some kind of analysis with you. This debt trap is a very interesting situation. Right now we are able to see it because it is in one loan. Otherwise, people don't realize it. They have personal loan also, they have home loan also, they have car loan also, they have credit card debt. Under any circumstance, if the total interest outgoing is more than the repayment capacity of the individual, he will fall in the debt trap. So one of our main thing as financial planners or financial advisors is to save our clients from debt trap. So now we are still left with a lot of things, very interesting formulas. We have XIRR, we have NPV, XNPV. Then there are interesting functions, data tables, goal sheet. All this will we do. We will do before we start making financial. So in the initial sessions, what I am going to do, I'm just giving you a glimpse of what we do in the initial session. Initial 2 sessions will be spent on things like that, and then you will be sent the 2 session and some part of the 3rd session also we are going to spend on this. And the financial mathematics primer and this PPT also that I am showing you. Today we are able to cover only some part of it. Look at the later portion of this PPT. It has problems. A lot of practice problems are there. So once you are, see this, all these are practice problems. Somehow, so later part of this presentation has this problems. So once you join our course, we'll expect that you will do all, and this PPT has solutions to these problems also in the notes section. So whatever we are going to give you, whatever is a part of the teaching material presentation that we'll be giving you, will have adequate solutions. You will have access to recordings, and obviously the post-program support in terms of WhatsApp is there. I am there, and once you attend our program, you are connected to me through WhatsApp, so you can get back to me also at that any point in time. And still, if you want to ask me anything, this is my number on your screen. This is my number. You can get to me. Anshu Srivastava is my name. And with this, I guess, I hope you have enjoyed this class. More than enjoyment, it's about practice. You got the concept. So this is the field. Okay, this recording, this sheet, this PPT, everything you will get at the end of it. Any question you want to ask? Otherwise, I am done with that today's class. Now we are not done with Excel. We have to do a lot more. You can use any, Nikhil. That doesn't matter. The functions are nearly same. 2013, 2016, the functions are same. Only in the spreadsheets of Apple, the functions are located at different places. 2013, 2016, 2010, anything. Currently on your screen, this version, my version is 2016. But half the time I have taught in 2007 also. No problem. So the main program we are starting on 8th of October. Initial 2 sessions will be like this, and we'll be. Yes, I think you will be able to manage. Only one class will manage, and you will get the recording. You will get an idea. We'll send you this recording, so you will get the recording. You can practice, and then you can join the later class. No problem. 23rd is no problems at all. 23rd would be more of a concluding thing. So you can manage it very well. You can. That is, and if you by chance something comes up, you miss a class, you can always look at the recording. And I think recording is quite explanatory in this case. Swati madam, you want to say something?
I'm good, Anshu. Thanks.
Chale then, thanks a
Enjoy the
lot.
class,
Thanks for
ma'am.
joining, and I hope you enjoyed this class. And hoping to see most of you in the main thing. Now, now you would have understood this is a marathon workshop. It's not about preaching. We keep on working. Yes, you can. If your query is not solved by watching recording, you will be connected to me in real time. Call me, WhatsApp me. No problem.
Yeah, don't worry about connecting. So if you miss something to understand, also you can always, kind of
Yes,
call us,
I will.
take time. Yeah.
I will teach making financial plan. Basically, our main workshop is financial plan. What I have showed you today is the preparation, the pre financial plan thing. Yes, Vijay, that is the purpose. After the training, you will be able to make a financial plan. We will assist you also. If you face any problem, we will assist you. You should be able to make a good financial plan. Sample financial plan. Did you see the recording yesterday? I showed it in the class. You have got yesterday's recording. I have showed the
Yes,
financial plan.
everybody's got it.
Financial plan, like it would be very similar to this. We generally do not share the Excel file without registration. Let's see what I can do for you. Excel we generally don't share without registration. PDF we can, but PDF we won't be able to make it out. Chale, we will teach you how to make a plan in Excel and convert it into PDF. Financial plan will be in both PDF and Excel. Like 23rd wala session will be devoted more of how to format your financial plan and convert it into Excel. That's why I was telling Nikhil, there's no problem. Would be around 25-30 pages, more or less. It could be 35 pages also. 35. Depending on what you like. Risk profiling is also a part of financial plan, which FPSB people have not involved. And then your engagement letter. We'll 5 pages, not 5 pages. They are asking for 5 documents maximum, not 5 pages. 5 separate documents. You talk to me separately. I'll tell you what it is. 5 pages is not possible to have a financial plan. Chalo then, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining. Let's.
Yep.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody, for joining and have a good evening.
You may call me tomorrow morning, Vijay, or maybe after 9 o'clock. I am okay. Or tomorrow morning around 9-10 o'clock. After that, anytime. Chale, thanks a lot. Huh? Already so. I'm ending the session. Thank you.